Cole Zeien is a senior at Hastings High School and will be a 2025 Raider graduate. During his time at Hastings High School, he has been a two-sport athlete, competing in football and track and field. In football, he is a 3-year letter winner and captain of the team. In track and field, Cole is a 4-year letter winner and helped the team to win 2 conference titles. Cole gives a great interview where he talks about the positives he has received from sports and how an injury provided him the opportunity to grow as a leader. All right, here we are with Cole Zeien. Cole, we always like to start at the beginning of someone's life. So let's start at the beginning of your life. Let's hear about your mom and your dad, any brothers or sisters that you have. Did you always live in Hastings? Did you guys eventually move to Hastings? So once again, let's hear about your life growing up.
So I have lived in Hastings my whole life, the same house, all 18 years of my life. My mom is an auditor for the courts, and my dad sides houses. I have one sister. She just turned 26 actually, and she has a little daughter. So I am an uncle too. She's adorable. I love spending time with her. But growing up, I always played sports in Hastings programs, and it's been a huge part of my life.
Perfect. Me being a teacher, I do like to hear about the schools you attended here in Hastings. And if there are any teachers at each of those schools that had a really big impact on you, let's hear about them. You don't have to talk about every single teacher you had in every grade, but once again, let's hear about elementary, middle, and high school, and then any teachers that had a really big impact on you.
So I went to Kennedy for elementary, and one of my full circle moments is having Van Duzer as a gym teacher in second grade, I think. Didn't really appreciate the work ethic back then, but then playing football in high school with him as a coach, really made me realize how special it was, and pretty much saw me grow up. And yeah, he was one of my favorite teachers. And then I went to middle school. Don't remember much of what happened there, to be honest. COVID was there.
I only laugh because I swear you were probably the 15th to 20th person that said the same thing. Everyone says, man, that was just a blur those years. I think I blacked out. I don't remember anything from it. Some people are even like, man, that was the best 4 years of my entire life. But that is a rare person. So most people are like you, Cole, that yeah, they don't remember anything from those couple of years. So that's okay.
Yeah, I really don't know what happened. Maybe it was just COVID and half of it kind of just got wiped out. But one of my favorite teachers from middle school was Miss Lundstrom. Had her in 6th grade. She was amazing. Then high school, you're pretty cool.
Thanks, Cole.
Yeah, anytime. Right now, my favorite teacher is probably Miss Kerner. She's very nice, and she helps me get through my calculus assignments. It's great to have her.
Awesome. As you said a little bit ago, you've been playing sports your whole life. So let's hear about the sports you played growing up. Typically, I like to stop people right around the 8th or 9th grade level. Sometimes people that come on here started playing at a JV or varsity level when they were in middle school. If that's the case for you, let's hear about that. If not, like I said, we'll stop somewhere around 9th grade, and then we'll start back up with your high school career after that.
Sounds great. So one of the biggest sports that I started when I was 3 was soccer. And I played soccer for probably around 14 years. But growing up, it was definitely the sport I loved the most. And I did a lot of traveling and going to different tournaments and stuff growing up. I also did a little bit of track in middle school and a little bit of flag football too. But it was mainly soccer because my mom was a little scared of me playing Little Raiders football. So she had me stick to soccer most times.
That's awesome. All right, let's start in 9th grade here. What I typically like doing is starting off with that 9th grade fall season, and then we'll hear about that sport. We'll go to 9th grade winter season, 9th grade spring season, and then we'll start up with 10th grade. I really like hearing about any personal accomplishments that go along with each year. So if you're the captain of the team, all conference, all state qualifier, anything that goes along with that, even little awards that go along with your team too. So like a Radar Award, most improved, anything along those lines. And then let's hear about any team accomplishments. So once again, if your team qualified for state, if you guys won the conference tournament, Once again, anything that goes along with your team accomplishments. So let's hear about your whole high school career so far.
Okay. Freshman fall year was my first time playing football, so I was really excited. And started at wide receiver for the first time ever. Had a lot to learn, but Colvin and a couple of the other coaches definitely helped me learn like how to play football because it was really my first time like playing tackle football. I played flag football, but I really enjoyed it. And obviously, I played for another 3 years, so I must have liked it enough. But yeah, it was a great start to my football career. Played wide receiver, didn't get to touch the ball that much, but it was still fun. I still made a lot of friendships from it, and a lot of my friends that I have today are from like meeting them in ninth grade football.
Perfect. Did you play any sports in the winter?
No, I didn't do any sports. I was just working out and lifting in the winters.
Right on. Let's go to the ninth grade fall or the ninth grade spring season then. What'd you do then?
Played track, and originally I wasn't planning on signing up for track, but my mom had me do it. She made me do it, but I enjoyed it a lot, and I was really good at like the jumps that year. In sections or conferences, I got top 8. I think it was conferences. I got top 8, which is really cool because there weren't many freshmen like at the conference meet at all. Yeah, and after that, I actually liked track, so my mom was right.
So I guess a life lesson. We always listen to our moms in our lives, huh?
Yep.
All right. Perfect. Let's get to 10th grade here.
10th grade fall, another football season. This is one of my favorite sports seasons ever, actually. I just really liked McGinnis and McClay as coaches, and played more receiver, and I actually got to dress for all the varsity games too, which was really cool. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Nothing in the winter again?
Nope. Weightlifting still with Luke Rao.
Yeah, we don't have to put him in here. I did a podcast last night and his name popped up quite a bit.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we could just be done with him for a whole week. That's okay. Don't worry. All right, let's hear about the spring season then. Assuming you did track and field again during your 10th grade year.
Yep. Did track and field again. It was another good year. I placed again at conferences, and I think it was long jump this year though. But we actually like our team won the conference meet, and it was pretty insane seeing everyone. We all took a victory lap after we won the meet, and it was a pretty cool experience getting to win it with the team. And yeah, it was really special.
Yeah, I think the one cool thing about track and field, especially when it comes to the conference, is that there's so many events and it's just a huge math game. And I don't understand it. Obviously, you got people like Coach Cook and they have it down to a T, but
Yeah.
there's just so many moving parts and you need to do well in this event and you're favored in here and you're not favored in here. But then if this team places above this one here, then it's less points for them. It's
Yep.
this huge moving thing. I think I remember when you guys won it this year too. Were you favored to win it or did you see the writing on the wall or how did things unfold for you guys to win the conference tournament that year?
I don't think we were really expecting it. The year prior to our sophomore year, though, we lost by just a tiny bit to St. Thomas, and it came down to the last event, which everyone was watching, and it was a heartbreaking thing, but came back the next year and won it. It was like a 50-50 basically that year if we were going to win it or not.
Perfect. All right, here we go. 11th grade. Let's start off with the spring sport then.
11th grade football. It was my first time like playing or starting on varsity. I didn't play the first game of the season, but I started running back, changed positions this year, and it was really cool being able to like see everyone in the stands at the home games and stuff, and it was really special. Eventually, I got all conference, I think, at the end of the year, and the offensive MVP for our team. it was another great year of football.
One of the things too, we talk about it maybe a little later in the podcast, but talk about your improvement process. And obviously, you said it a second ago, but I glossed over it. But you talked about in the winter season, really lifting weights really hard. So
Mhm.
obviously, your freshman and your sophomore year, you go from wide receiver. Your 11th grade year, now you're playing running back, completely different position. Probably a lot of different, maybe I want to say different muscle groups you're using. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
completely different body types of people that are in the NFL here, wide receivers versus running back. So we could talk about it right now, that improvement process from your 10th to 11th grade year that really got you ready for a change of position and probably a completely different position as well.
Yeah. So I was spending a lot of time in the weight room, like in the off season. I think from sophomore year to junior year, I gained about 30 pounds, which probably wasn't part of the plan, but eventually did lead me to me switching positions from running back or from receiver to running back. And yeah, it was mostly because I was squatting a lot and I was definitely not a receiver build anymore.
Perfect. All right, here we go. 11th grade, spring season, track and field. Let's hear about it.
So it's another great year. I did get injured early in the year though, so I missed about half the season because I tweaked my hamstring and it just kept getting worse after a while. But towards the end of the year, or towards the middle of the year, I got back into it and I was starting to practice again. And I competed in a lot of the meets. And for conference time, we ended up winning conferences again, which is amazing, pretty sweet. But I made finals in the 100 meter, which it like would happen a few days after that. But then during finals, I tweaked my hamstring again. So it wasn't the greatest end of the year, but our team did end up winning the conference meet again, which was amazing. But yeah, I had to nurse a few injuries throughout that season.
Perfect. And here we are in 12th grade already. A second ago, you were talking about being at Kennedy with Coach Mr. Van Duzer, and now we're in your 12th grade year already. So let's hear about your football season this year.
Football season definitely did not go how I wanted it to. Played the first 2 games, and then in our third game against Matamita, I had like tore my ankle apart pretty much. I sprained it in 3 places and had a bunch of torn ligaments in it, and pretty much took me out for the rest of the season. But before the season actually started, I did get nominated captain for the football team, which was a great honor. And so I had to fight the feeling that I wanted to quit because I was so like angry about my ankle, and I decided to make it a season about becoming a better leader instead because I wasn't able to play as much as I would have liked to, but I did learn a lot from my teammates, and I think it helped me be a better person.
Yeah, when you say learn about be a better leader, can you go into that a little bit more? What does that look like for you when you're on the sideline, not being able to play? Obviously, you want to be one of the starters out there. You're hurt, you're a captain. What's it look like when you take a new leadership role on the team?
It's really something I never experienced before. It was hard for me at the start to try to see the bigger picture behind it, but eventually I figured, like, I learned from my coaches and stuff that being a leader could help just as much as playing on the field. So I just tried to like give as much advice as I could to my position group and talk them through some things, make sure they're doing the right thing, and even at practices, like making sure their head was in the game and making sure they were paying attention. And I like leading by example, but obviously I couldn't in this situation. It took a lot for me to learn how to lead other ways, but I think I did a pretty good job, I'd say.
Perfect. So pretty cool. Right now, we're about 2 to 3 weeks into the track season, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less. I think you got your first home track meet tomorrow, and we're getting into the track season. So 10th grade year, 11th grade year, you guys are team conference champs. You've had a lot of individual success as well when it comes to track. Let's give a preview of how you want to do individually and some goals that you have. And then when it comes to the team as well, let's hear your goals for the team.
For the team, first of all, I really expect that We'll win conferences again. I'm hoping for it. Hopefully we send a bunch of people to state. We sent a few people last year, but hoping to send more this year and some more relays maybe. But yeah, our first home meet's tomorrow, and we got to meet in Austin on Friday right after that. So that'll be exciting. But honestly, it just feels good to be doing a sport again since missing the whole football season. I just feel good running around and getting to compete with my friends. And it's going great so far.
Awesome. And one of the things that we like to hear about on here is why we play sports. So I always bring it up that our AD, Mr. Hansen, challenges us coaches and asks us why we coach. Like I said, on here, Cole, we flip that around on our guest, which is you, and we ask you why you play sports. So looking back on your high school career, even before that as well, you talked about playing soccer most of your life, transitioning to football when you were a freshman, going out for track and field when you didn't want to, but your mom made you, and it really worked out in the long run. But sports is very important in your life. So why do you play sports?
I'm a really competitive person at nature, so definitely helps get some of that out of me. Also, don't know if my parents could handle me if I didn't have a sport to do. I'd have way too much energy for them probably. I play sports to be part of a team. All my friends play sports at just a great experience to play sports with your friends. You get a lot of great memories from the things you do. Some of my greatest memories come from track and the bus rides with the team, and just it's like a family to me.
That's funny you say that because this is, I think, you're the 124th person I've interviewed for this podcast. And I think a lot of people say the same things. Maybe the big wins and the losses, those are really hard. And those are usually remembered, but most of the people talk about exactly what you just talked about, Cole. It's the bus rides, it's a hangout with friends, it's being with friends, it's a competition that you get. So that's why sports are so important. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is great.
You got about 3.5, almost 4 years of playing sports here at Hastings High School. If you had to look back and maybe pick out 1 to 2 of your favorite sports memories, what do you think they would be?
Definitely last year's trip to Duluth with the track team. We go up there every year, but we always go up there like a few hours before we have an actual meet, and we just get to hang around the town with just a big group of people. We always like ride scooters and stuff, so that's always a blast to do. And maybe honestly, freshman year football, just getting introduced to it. It was just completely new to me. Never put on a helmet in my life. Just squeezing my head for a long time, and I had a pretty bad headache after every practice. But just we got to meet a bunch of new people that year and get to learn how football is played. And yeah, it was a great year.
Awesome. Another thing that Mr. Hansen likes to challenge us coaches on is defining success. And we have to do it every single year. And we break down success in multiple different ways. But like I said, same thing with why we play question on here. I like to turn that around on you guys and ask you guys how you define success. So, Cole, how would you define success when it comes to sports?
Honestly, I don't think it matters, like the record or the time at the end of the day. I think it just matters how you feel about it and how you improved. And if you did everything you could to do the best you could, I think that's all that matters. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Perfect. So, as we just said, you're a senior right now. Do you got any plans next year for college? I know sometimes people got it all dialed in. Some people say, I have no idea what's going on next year. So let's hear if you have any plans for next year. If you're playing a sport, let's hear about that. And if you do have a major picked out, let's hear about that.
I'm planning on going to UMD next year, UMD Duluth. I'm not planning on playing any sports, but I will definitely be doing some like rec league things because I need to get my energy out, like I said before. And I'm planning on studying actuary science. It's like basically mixed stats class and stuff. And like you work for insurance companies. I don't really know too much about it, but my cousin does it and he's told me a lot about it. And it seems really interesting to me. And stats class is one of my favorite classes right now. So I think it'll be a good fit for me.
Perfect. So looking back on the last 4 years, you played with a lot of coaches. You've played for a lot of coaches, especially growing up too. You had a lot of coaches probably with soccer and some other sports that you dabbled in. So I really I love this question, but I also think it's really impossible to answer when I ask for maybe the best coach that you've played for or a coach that had a really big impact on you. So if you want to break the rules and name a couple different coaches, I'll let you do that, Cole. But who do you think is the best coach that you've played for?
Hmm. There's definitely a lot I could talk about. I think I'll talk about Cook, though, because I've definitely spent the most time with him as a coach, even from freshman year, Raiders Express, to then track, and then sophomore year, more Raiders Express and track and football, and basically the same thing for the rest of the years. He really just pushes me to be the best I can be. Like if I'm fooling around or anything, he tries to make sure I can lock in. And he definitely helped me a lot from switching from receiver to running back my junior year. I had to sit down with him for a while and go over a lot of plays and stuff. And he definitely helped me out with that. And he's definitely been supportive. He's been with me through my injuries and made sure I got through them. So they're definitely very helpful of him. And he's also a fun coach. He doesn't take things too seriously most times. But yeah, he's been great for basically my whole high school career.
I think you're the first person to describe him as fun as well. So I always think he's 100% serious all the time. So that's good that you see another side of him as well. I didn't know he had that in him.
I think if you came to a track practice, you might see it. Depends on the day.
All right. Sounds good. Maybe it's football. He's more serious with football, and track, he's a little more laid back. Or is it a little fun with each sport?
I think he's a little bit more loose in track. I feel like strain might keep him a little dialed down when it's football time.
Gotcha. But Coach Strain is holding back the fun side of Coach Cook. I see what's going on here now. All right. Yeah. All right, cool. So now you just heard about your favorite coach, or your best coach, I should say, too. Let's hear about your teammates now. So these are the guys that you're playing football with. These are the guys you're running track and field with, or even someone that you played soccer with growing up. So who would you say is one of your most valuable teammates that you've played with?
This might get said a lot. I don't know who's been on here before, but Lucas Foss, always been like right there by my side through he does football and track too. Pretty perfect that it worked out that way, but he always like just motivates me to be a better person and a better athlete and to try hard because I know he works really hard too. So it's really inspiring seeing him work that hard towards his goals. And yeah, he's kind of like a big brother to me. So playing sports with him was kind of perfect.
You're absolutely right. I have interviewed Lucas for this podcast, so he's been on here before.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably last year. I think it was the beginning of his junior year. But also, I've heard his name pop up numerous times as well.
Yeah.
Same thing you just talked about, Cole, is he's just someone that always leads by his example, but leads by how he talks to other people, and it's just always doing the right thing. So high amount of integrity all the time. So just a great kid.
Yep. Exactly how I would describe him.
Awesome. I always like this next question, Cole, because it changes from year to year. It changes sport to sport. When I interview older alumni, they have certain opponents that they always like playing against. And I really like to see if those rivalries be the same throughout the years or if they change once again from decade to decade and then sport to sport. So let's hear about a particular opponent that you always look forward to playing every year. And once again, you are a multi-sport athlete. So it could be a team for football. It could be different for track and field. But I also know for track and field, you're really not running against other teams. So you might not really have an opponent you always look forward to running against. So if there's a particular event, like you talked about, the Duluth meet for track and field, let's hear about that.
So definitely for football, most fun I've ever had. And like the best games, both years I played on varsity were Cretan Durham Hall. We ended up going into overtime our junior year with them during our homecoming after a huge like lightning delay too. So the game was like finishing at like midnight. So it was super special. And we went into overtime and eventually won it, which was really cool. And then the following year, during Cretan's homecoming, actually, we ended up going into overtime again and winning like barely, which was really cool and really special. It was a nail biter each year. And yeah, it was just really fun.
Perfect. What about track and field? I know you already talked about the Duluth meet
Mhm.
really standing out as something special for you. If you want to talk about conference meet, Duluth meet, anything else that really stands out as a cool event that you do for track and field, let's hear about it.
Definitely, I enjoy the running part of track sometimes, but most of the time it's more just hanging out with my friends and getting to experience some new things. But one event that I really love and that is always really competitive is our 4x1 team. And I think we'll be really good this year. We got some fast kids going. I think during our Austin meet on Friday, it'll be really cool to see how we stack up against other better teams.
Awesome. Cool. I already talked about the improvement process and how you've made some big gains, especially between that 10th grade and that 11th grade year.
Mhm.
Anything else if you want to talk about the improvement process, anything you've done between 9th and 12th grade here to really elevate your game and really get better for each sport that you participate with? Let's hear about that.
Yeah, so definitely being in the gym has helped me a lot, not only with my strength, but more my mentality too. Just makes me work harder, I think. And working out alone is hard sometimes, but I feel like if you can make yourself do it, that you can do a lot of other things. Uh, a lot of things that helped me was the gym and also just practicing by myself, getting just footwork down or just running. It definitely helped me a lot. And even doing drills just by yourself, I think helps out a lot.
Perfect. Last couple questions then for you, Cole. We always try to end here with advice for our parents, coaches, and student athletes. So, first group we always look at is our parents and coaches. Look at, looking back on the last 4 years, if you had to give parents or coaches just a couple pieces of advice, what do you think it would be?
I'd say probably just let your kid do what they want to do. I think as a parent, you should push them definitely a little bit. I think that they can do it themselves if they really want to. So I'd say let loose a little bit, but in times congratulate them and push them to be better, and definitely ask them questions. I think that'll help. But I don't know what else.
No, I think that's really good. Now, same kind of question for our student athletes. So, these are those kids coming to Todd Field to watch you play football. These are the kids that are going to come watch you run track and field. If you had to give younger student athletes a few pieces of advice, what do you think it would be?
I'd definitely say hang out with people that share the same goals as you. Because if you hang out with those people, you can work towards your goals together. And by doing that, like you'll get to your goals faster, and you also make super strong relationships and connections with other people doing the same thing as you. And I also say that if you want to get better, you have to put the work in, especially in the off season. Don't just sit around and do nothing. If you want to get better, you gotta keep working all year round. And if not, then you probably won't see as much improvement as you could.
Perfect. Cole, that's all the questions I got for you. The last thing I always do is just turn the microphone over to our guest, which is you. Anything else you want to talk about? Any questions I forgot to ask you? Any shout outs you want to give? Like I said, the microphone is yours and you can go for it.
Ooh, put me on the spot. Let's see here. Definitely want to say shout out to Lucas Foss. I don't know how he does it, but he seems to be the perfect student and the perfect athlete, as some coaches say. So I don't know how that works. Definitely want to thank my parents for. Sorry, I don't even want to hear about it, but they made me start working out with Luke Rao when I was 14, I think. And I definitely think a lot of my work ethic and my strength and just who I became was part of that. Definitely helped me in all my sports. I'd say to all young athletes who want to get better, I think being in the weight room can help you for any sport, really. And I don't think there's any downsides to it unless you're not doing anything right. One thing I would like to talk about is like the importance of Todd Field to me. I used to go to a bunch of the football games when I was super little, and from going to the games to then like practicing and playing on the field was really something special to me. And I think that's something about being a Raider is Todd Field, just in the middle of town, and brings the whole town together. I think growing up there, seeing a bunch of people play football, and then eventually playing football on the field, which I didn't think would ever happen, but it's something really special to me. And yeah.
Perfect.